Thank you all for joining today. We are so excited to share with you how Salesforce can help you maximize your lead conversion and how the platform can really help you with sales bots, voice, and AI. Our goal today is to make sure that you have a full understanding of how the Salesforce platform can help in this endeavor. And we're going to do that by sharing with you why customers turn to Salesforce to improve their lead conversion, how this has worked for other customers, and we'll cap things off with a live example of that solution at work. My name is James Yukovich, and I'm an account executive here at NeuraFlash. Been in the Salesforce ecosystem for nearly 7 years now and work with primarily CMT customers, but NeuraFlash works across all verticals. And I think maybe at least a handful of you are wondering, who is NeuraFlash? I'm sure you all know Salesforce, but NeuraFlash is one of the go-to Salesforce partners for organizations that are looking to maximize lead conversion and automate through their sales process. So to give you a little bit of historical context, an organization called Haywire was actually the original SMS tool that Salesforce acquired to roll into their digital engagement offering. And our founders come from a history of being VP of sales over there. So digital engagement, digital channels, connecting with customers where they are is truly in NeuraFlash's DNA. And we're really excited to have a chat with you a little bit more about how we can help you here. So from our side, I think I'll pass it over to Jeff Shapiro to share with you a little bit about why customers will turn to Salesforce with these particular challenges.
Awesome. Thank you, James, and hello, everybody. We appreciate you being here. You can go to the next slide here, James. We're going to talk a little bit about meeting customers where they are. So again, my name is Jeff Shapiro. I'm a leader in our CMT business, and I want to quickly provide some context around the importance of inspecting your lead intake and routing processes, in addition to the technology used to support sales operations. The primary theme here is that speed wins. The data shows that there are dramatic effects on conversion rates based on the amount of time that it takes for a company to respond to their customers. In fact, 78% of customers buy from the company that responds to them first. But the scary truth of the matter is that the average lead response time is around 42 hours. But if you're able to make contact within the first minute, that conversion rate improves by nearly 400%. Within just a 5-minute delay, we see lead qualification drop by 80%. So as you can see, speed is a critical factor here. And by adding personalization and digital experiences to the mix, we believe that you will have a winning strategy. So what does this look like in practice? You'll see firsthand, obviously, in the upcoming demo, but let me walk you through a few ways to improve your response times by leaning into a platform-based approach. First, you can automatically trigger an SMS follow-up upon completion of a lead intake form. This can be a customizable message, of course, but this automation speaks directly to our need to make first contact. From there, customers have the ability to respond to this automated SMS, which will immediately convert into a one-to-one conversation with a sales rep. We can also proactively surface an option to chat with an agent based on certain triggers, such as spending a certain amount of time on a product or service landing page. Another option is to leverage a sales chatbot, providing a more conversational experience. The sales bot can intake data, provide company or product information, qualify leads, and intelligently route customers to the appropriate personnel or departments. And then finally, in concert with sales enablement, we can enter prospects into call queues, providing a follow-up cadence, in addition to some functionality like voicemail drops. All of these applications reside natively within the Salesforce platform, creating a seamless, less cumbersome tech stack while also driving a C360 approach. With that, let me send it back to James, and we'll talk about how NeuraFlash helps bring these concepts to life.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeff. Really appreciate that. And to give you some context, I'll want to review this in the form of a customer that we've helped in this specific scenario. But in terms of some of the challenges that organizations will bring to NeuraFlash when considering this type of solution. So essentially, organizations are looking to consolidate their tech stack. You can have a tool for SMS, a tool for chat, a tool for all the different channels that your organization communicates with your customers. And that creates a disjointed system in which it's difficult to measure the actual lead response time. So essentially consolidating all of that onto the Salesforce platform for this particular endeavor makes it a lot easier for our customers to manage that process. Doing more with less. This is a theme that we're all hearing throughout the industry, and being able to create automations, create simplicity, and make your agents' lives and experiences a little bit easier will help them to do more with less and create that high lead conversion through the cadencing tool. And unlocking further automation, the cadencing that you're able to do, the automated SMS drops, the automated voicemail drops, making sure that you can create the look and feel of a personalized touch point with little to no effort on the sales rep side is something that we've really helped organizations to take advantage of. And through the idea of a customer here, as you can see, we whitelisted this organization. This is a logistics company that we've worked with previously. This is an organization who's implemented wall-to-wall what you are going to see when I turn things over to Bobby, my solutions engineer. But basically across all of their digital channels, from voice to chat to SMS, this organization leverages automation through Salesforce to help drive lead conversion. And some of the outcomes that we've seen with this customer and customers alike are 15% increase in the overall lead touch points that an individual is able to get out on a daily, monthly, weekly basis, however you're measuring that, as well as a 20% decrease in the average lead conversion time based on the automation and the personalization that you can create throughout this solution. So the reason that we share these outcomes is because NeuraFlash is a very outcomes focused company. When we build a solution, we want to make sure that not only is it elegant, sleek, and easy to use, but it's also accomplishing what we set out to do at the outset of this project. And we're really excited to share with you what this might look like in real time. So I'll share it. I'll pass it over to Bobby, my solutions engineer, to show you a real life example of this.
All right, thanks, James. Hi everyone, my name is Bobby Lasoya. I'm a solutions engineer here at NeuraFlash. Been working in the Salesforce ecosystem for quite a while. Had a stint at Salesforce as well. We're going to be walking through a demo here based on some of the things that we've talked about so far. And how do we achieve kind of an effective sales cycle? How do we capitalize on the ability to use the platform to create that competitive advantage for your sellers? So we'll walk through a use case here that involves a couple different steps. So I put together a slide just to kind of highlight where we're going to go. So we have a couple different customers here. We have Lauren and Sarah. Lauren, she's going to be actively engaged on the website. We'll see her walk through a website where she's potentially looking at buying some software, and we'll guide her through that process with a sales bot inside of a chat console. And so that will help us create that lead within Salesforce automatically, add her to that cadence that James was mentioning, enabling us to do regular proactive follow-up. So she'll get an SMS, which will allow us to move her farther into the sales cadence and eventually hope to line her up with the call with our sales representative. After we successfully do the SMS, before we get on the phone call, we'll also offer her the option to schedule a time that works for her so that we can call her at the right time. Now we have another customer here as well, Sarah. When we look at her, it'll be a little bit of a harder sell. And so we'll look at what the rep can do to get her engaged. We'll imagine that she's doing similar types of use cases as Lauren, where she's engaged in the chatbot, but she hasn't necessarily gone any farther, right? She hasn't responded to any SMS. She hasn't done any kind of further outreach. So she's a customer that we want to get back into the process. We'll see how we can leverage one-on-one SMS to have a personalized interaction that can grab her and bring her back into the fold. And here we have Lauren, who's navigating into the portal, and she wants to engage within chat to access that contact us sales bot that's been mentioned. And so once Lauren gets connected to the bot can help determine her level of interest, help to manage her initial qualification on behalf of the sales team. So we see here we have the option to basically ask anything. We're leveraging natural language here to understand what Lauren's going to type. In this case, like I mentioned, she has a problem. She doesn't have any visibility into what's happening with her product. And so from that, the bot knows to say, hey, look, we have a software solution that can help deal with this. It helps to combine some of these things you're looking to get insight into. And this intrigues Lauren. And so she's going to say, hey, I haven't not heard of this before. Can you give me some more information? Right. So Lauren's acting as an engaged customer here. The bot recognizes that and then starts to provide additional information. So, hey, we have this software that you can use. And we're also then going to be asking, hey, if you can provide your name and email, I can send you some details that will help determine whether this is the right fit, right? So whether that's some sort of product data sheet or some sort of video for her to watch or some other method for her to engage and understand the solution here, we want to grab that information. That's going to help us create the lead. And so Lauren, again, as an interested customer, she says, sure, here's my name and email. And the second thing then we can have the bot do is ask for a phone number, right? So if we want to grab as much detail as possible while we're engaged with the customer, we can ask her to send over her phone number. So that's going to allow us to automatically create the lead within Salesforce and have that lead be added into this sales cadence. And so by leveraging a bot here to kind of work with the inbound traffic from chat, it's really a low risk scenario for Lauren, right? She's not trapped on the phone. She's not in chat with a human. She has that option to back out at any time, which makes her feel a little bit more comfortable engaging in the sales process. But at the same time, we have the right information to continue to engage her throughout that process and kind of really hone in on that speed to lead component. So ultimately, we're empowering sales teams here to optimize their processes, right? Drive revenue growth on additional channels outside of phone and establish kind of strong initial relationships with their leads and potential customers without having to necessarily involve a sales rep right away. So after that's complete, Lauren can go ahead and end her interaction here. And as we move into the next step of our sales cadence, whether we're sending an email right away or sending an SMS after the email is opened, however we want to design that sales cadence. But going back to what's in the beginning slides, if we want to do a proactive follow-up right away, we absolutely can do that through SMS. So as an example, once this conversation is finished, we see that Lauren's kind of moving forward into the process. We can have an SMS that fires off to her to make sure that she stays engaged through the process. So if I pull my phone up here, you'll see that we've done that, right? So after we finished that conversation, a text message was sent out to Lauren saying, hey, here's some information that you asked for. Here's a link that you can click. If you have any questions, please reach out, right? And so this is like a one-way SMS blast, or like an outbound SMS. But of course, this is still powered by the Salesforce platform. It's powered by Einstein bots. So if for whatever reason, Lauren did want to engage, she does have that option, and then we'll move into a two-way conversation over text with the bot. So we'll go ahead and say, yep, this is very interesting. How do I move forward? And so this is going to initiate another conversation with the bot, again, moving out of chat and into SMS, but it's the same bot on the back end that's doing all of the heavy lifting for the sales team here. And so the bot at that point can then suggest a meeting, right? We've confirmed that Lauren is interested. She has now engaged on multiple different channels, right? Chat and SMS. And then we'll see that the bot here should respond and say, hey, yeah, if you are interested, right, the next step in our sales cadence is actually to set up a meeting. Is that something you're interested in? And of course, the bot is native to Salesforce. So it has access to the calendars of the sales reps. It can find the right person in the right area that can help qualify further and speak with Lauren. And so bots can simplify both the lead capture process and the lead maturation process, as well as doing things like appointment scheduling and making sure that we're reaching out to customers at the right time when they're available and not having to do a bunch of voicemail drops, right? So we're trying to make sure that we are getting them on the phone the first time. So this helps to eliminate a lot of that back and forth communication, manual coordination that's typically involved in an appointment. And of course, with SMS, you can also set automated reminders, notifications, confirmation, yes, no, are you going to show up? So we're trying to reduce the chance that a sales rep is sitting there not able to interact with the customer, decrease the amount of no-shows, decrease the amount of missed meetings, ensuring really that the sales team and the lead themselves are also really prepared and engaged when these types of things are organized. So we see Lauren's moving through the sales process here. We're doing this outreach at various points throughout the process. And now she'll have a meeting that's set up with our sales team. So we'll say, yes, that works fine for me. And then we should get a confirmation here from the bot saying, great, we'll talk to you then. Cool. So now that we have Lauren prepped for the appointment, let's switch over to the sales console, and then we can kind of look at what that looks like from a sales rep perspective. So here we are now kind of in the role of a sales representative, and we're looking at their main dashboard in the sales console. And the way we have this organized through sales engagement is they're responsible for following up with leads, and those leads are all proactively being presented to them in the work queue. And the work queue is kind of the to-do list for the sales rep. It's going to display all the assigned tasks and leads that require his attention. So here we're looking at a home page of the dashboard, right? Again, reporting, very important here. Average minutes to first outreach, average days to convert, all metrics that become kind of easy and reportable when we start to think about moving everything onto the same platform. But for today's work, we're going to open up the work queue, and then we'll see that we have a, sorry, let me close this out. And we'll see that we have a bunch of leads here on the left-hand side. So this is work queue, this is to-do list. And you can open up each of these leads and see important details such as the lead name, due date, priority, how they interacted with us. So this helps our sales rep prioritize his work and ensure that all leads are flowing correctly through the sales cycle. So in this instance, we have, we're working a cadence today, we're working a list of leads that has come to us from bot conversations. So these are all the leads that we've generated so far based on interactions that we've had with our Contact Us bot. So we can see Lauren here. And like I mentioned, we also have Sarah, right? So Sarah also interacted with the bot, but she did not go very much farther. We open up this lead with Lauren, we can see all these different details about Lauren. Again, we're leveraging the Salesforce Customer 360 here. So whatever information we've captured from the lead form, we have all of that here for the rep to review before he goes and makes an outbound call. And so when we talk about making an outbound call, you'll notice here that we don't have in the bottom left-hand corner in the utility bar, we don't have a CTI connector. We don't have a separate phone widget inside the console because what we're doing today is leveraging the native voice solution that's offered by Salesforce. It uses Salesforce Omnichannel to manage the phone call. It handles the dialing, the telephony, and it also creates a record of the call that captures all of the information. So once I go ahead and place this call here, we'll see that we'll have a generic call script that pops up, and we'll also have an outbound dial that's happening here on the bottom. I gotta take myself off Do Not Disturb. Sorry about that. So if I'm on Do Not Disturb, I can leave a voicemail drop. But let's say that I do answer the phone. So we'll do that a second time. And then I can go ahead and answer that phone call on my cell phone here. So now what you'll notice here is that we have a voice call record that's been populated, and we have an active call that's going on here. And so this is going to contain all the information about what's happening on the call, including a voice call transcript as well. So when we think about tracking information and kind of taking call notes and logging calls, all that information is being stored right here in the voice call record, which is a standard piece of functionality inside of Salesforce. But this can also drive automation. So as we're talking to Lauren, we're looking at the lead details. We have the voice call record. Let's say they get into a conversation about software that she was interested in. And from the material provided, Lauren notices maybe that there's a bundle promotion going on, or perhaps from the rep side, he knows that he should be pushing a bundle option. With real-time transcription, we're using that to drive AI insights and automation. And so on the right-hand side here, you'll see that we have next best action. And what next best action is doing is making sure that whatever the context of the conversation is, we're using that to suggest different actions for the rep to take. So here, as we're talking about bundle, you'll see that we have an option to engage the customer on discussing the bundle, right? We can open this up, and what this is going to do is give us a simple screen flow. And so this is going to give him guidance on what to say, a simple step-by-step walkthrough with the customer to help basically sell the bundle. So this is kind of a dynamic call script compared to a static call script. So thinking about how to optimize the sales cycle, thinking about what, different types of conversations that may happen. You want to give the right tools to your sales team right up front, and using the voice call record and using Einstein and next best action helps to drive a lot of that automation. So here we could say, okay, hi Lauren, I see you're interested, yes or no. Maybe she confirms yes. We can move through this here and say, hey, we have, give them the right types of things to say, make sure that they are being given the right information to kind of help sell the solution that we're working through here. And if we want to proceed and Lauren says, yeah, I agree, this is great, I want to move forward with this plan, then we can enable a lot more automation on platform, right? Whether that's converting the lead to a contact, creating a quote for the bundle based on the products that she's looking at, creating an opportunity in Salesforce. All of those things become possible through Salesforce Flow, which is a native platform tool, but it's all being driven off of what's happening on the call itself in real time. So you can go ahead and finish this off. Let's assume here that they've moved forward. We've gone ahead and completed Lauren through the sales cycle here. We can end the voice call interaction right here within the console. And that's that. And so now we see that once we complete that call and kind of convert Lauren out of this step of the sales cadence, she moves out of his list. So now we are able to just quickly move down through the list of things that we need to do since we've been able to take care of Lauren. Now, the next lead in our list here is Sarah. And so if you remember back to kind of the journey slide, Sarah was not as interested in moving forward. She didn't really respond to any SMS follow-ups. She made her way through the cadence just by the fact that she didn't do anything, right? So you can have multiple different branches here as far as how customers move through your sales cadences. In this scenario, we want to give our sales rep one last chance to interact with Sarah before we move her off. And so because we know that she didn't really respond to any of the things that we're doing here, we may not want to do a phone call. If we did, we may get voicemail. Of course, we can leave a voicemail drop. But going back to the slide that Jeff was sharing, that one-on-one personalized interaction might be something that would work here. And maybe she's not someone who likes to leverage phone calls. Maybe she just screens all of her calls and sends them to voicemail. So as a final ditch follow-up effort here for our rep, we want to actually start an SMS conversation. And so very simply within Salesforce, again, leveraging omnichannel, using all the same native platform tools as the voice call record, we can go and create an SMS record, same as how we did from the bot, but instead this time it's being initiated by an agent. And this allows us to provide that personalized experience, right? So, hi, Sarah, my name is Bobby. I work for Cirrus. I noticed, et cetera, based on what we saw on the lead profile. You maybe have been interested in having a conversation, right? What should we do here? And so I can send that off to Sarah, and that's now a personalized message. And this is going to come to my cell phone. And again, this is a one-way message right now. It's kind of a blast message. But of course, if Sarah were to respond, which I will, because I am interested now that you're reaching out to me directly, that'll go ahead and initiate that conversation with the rep inside the sales console. And so it's really easy for them to have that back and forth within the sales console to make sure that those types of conversations are able to happen both in console, through the bot or through the sales rep. All of those options are kind of available to you inside of the Salesforce platform. And then you'll have that kind of one-on-one personalized touch with the customer. And so now, basically the rep and Sarah here can have a conversation. Hopefully now that she's engaged, we can move her forward into closure. Now, for the sake of time, I won't go through kind of the whole process here. I think you kind of get the idea on how we might leverage both voice and SMS from the agent perspective. And so that kind of ends our demo, but I want to walk through just a few bits to make sure that we're kind of wrapping up and understanding what we just saw. So in the case of Lauren and Sarah, basically we saw that Lauren had that really convenient engagement, through the chatbot. Like I mentioned, it's a low risk process for her. She was able to get information quickly. The bot had the right information that Lauren needed. And she had that fast follow-up through SMS. So thinking back to what Jeff was saying at the beginning, right? We wanted to put her into a sales cadence right away and send off an SMS to her right away to make sure that we didn't just stop at the chat. She had a secondary method that reminded her of what she was doing in the website and sending her additional information and trying to move her forward as quickly as possible so that we can get her to the phone call with the representative. We also had a really simple, easy way to schedule an appointment for her. Again, making it very simple for Lauren so that it's really seamless as a customer to move forward. And that helps to accelerate the deal cycle there. And then we look at Sarah, right? She had that personalized one-on-one follow-up on her preferred channel, right? So she didn't want to answer a phone call. She didn't really want to talk to the bot, but when we sent a text over to her, that's something that she was interested in. So we have multiple different ways to do outreach to customers. And then on the sales rep side, we saw some of that with the bot as well, right? So we were able to qualify the lead, create that information inside of Salesforce, and kind of remove the sales rep from that piece of the puzzle so that they can focus on more high touch or high value interactions and do that pre-screening and pre-qualification on behalf of the sales team. Once it does get to the sales rep, right, we saw that it was very easy for them to move through the console, move through their list of leads that were being presented to them by the system, and then very, very simple, easy click to call outbound with real-time transcription that allows us to unlock Einstein AI and different parts of the platform that help to drive the sales cycle forward and give the reps the right tools that they need in the moment to help close the deal. And then, like I mentioned, because all these are all native tools in Salesforce, the call transcripts, the text conversations, the fact that a call took place, all that's automatically logged against the lead or it's logged against the contact. So there's no need for the rep to go in and take call notes or to log a call. All that stuff is automatically populated inside the platform. And so some of the key takeaways I wanted to highlight on here, and I feel like I've kind of mentioned this a few times now, but basically faster follow-up, right, creates a competitive advantage, right? So being able to seamlessly move through those different conversations, right? Chat conversation, text conversation, phone conversation, all on the same platform, all leveraging omni-channel, all leveraging the Salesforce console. It gives you some flexibility in the type of experiences that customers can receive within the sales process, and helps to give you a leg up on competitors, right, who might be slower to engage their customers because they aren't leveraging this type of technology. And then, of course, meeting your customers on the channel of your choice is also a portion of that speed to lead equation. So in the example of Sarah, she didn't want to engage, we used SMS, right? We may do an email follow-up. There's different steps in the cadence that you can use that use different types of channels, whether it's phone or digital. So when we think about speed to lead, it's also important to consider that different channels will get different engagement rates. And so you as a seller want to have all of those different avenues available to you so that you're really maximizing the potential for sales. And then I think James mentioned this as well. When we talk about doing more with less, consolidation within Salesforce is the key here. Being able to replace solutions like Velocify or SalesLoft or Outreach for lead management, being able to replace SMS capabilities with something that's native to Salesforce, replacing outdated old CTI integrations and telephony platforms with a native voice solution on Salesforce that provides a lot more functionality out of the box in the console. All these things really help sales reps kind of do more without having to manage through multiple systems and without your IT teams having to manage through multiple different integration points and having them move between different windows. Really brings everything into platform. And then to build on that, that helps to unlock some of the other pieces in the platform, right? So it enables you to do things like we saw with Salesforce Flow and Next Best Action. It enables us to better utilize things like Einstein AI. Like we saw very briefly with the homepage there, it gives you better tracking and logging, right? How quickly are we closing leads? How quickly are we converting a chat conversation into an opportunity, right? All that stuff becomes easier when you have kind of all these tools in one place. And so putting all this together just unlocks more core capabilities of the base platform on top of obviously giving you that competitive advantage for your customers. And then I think here, the next slide, I'll pass it back to James, and then we'll wrap up.
Thank you so much, Bobby. That was an excellent demo. Really exciting stuff that you were able to show. And thank you so much for doing the recap of sort of what we saw and some of the key takeaways throughout this presentation. I think everybody probably has a similar question of what's step one? Where do we get started? A couple of things that I wanted to share with you as far as NeuraFlash and Salesforce goes. Both of those organizations are thought leaders in this space. We're in a position where we've done implementations and helped multiple customers to accomplish their goals when it comes to lead conversion, sales enablement, and overall sales engagement. So throughout those different engagements, we found that there are certain critical pieces of the implementation that are ubiquitous across all organizations. So those have helped us inform and create sort of these quick deployment offerings, the quick start offerings around digital engagement, as well as the voice and sales engagement powered by Service Cloud Voice. As Jeff had shared, speed is critical to lead response, but time to value is also critical in these implementation conversations and in the overall projects that you might endeavor to go on. So from our side, we try to package and make these things a little bit easier, a little bit quicker, and get you the functionality that you need to help your business succeed. Additionally, with that thought leadership, we've started to put out a publication called Cash Corner. This basically is an episodic podcast where we talk about the different lead to cash issues that customers are bringing to us and how other folks are resolving that. So please check that out. Our first episode is in this link as well. You'll be receiving that afterwards, and really, really appreciate your time. And I think from here, we're looking at a little bit of Q&A. If we go to the next slide.
Yeah.
So hopefully that answers a little bit about what the next steps will look like. We'd love to schedule personal calls with each of the attendees here. I think there were a couple of specific technical questions that we might want to answer as far as the solution that you saw here from our attendees. So I think one of the questions here that we saw is, what is the flow if someone does not feel comfortable providing a phone number, and what would be something that we would need in order to set in the flow themselves? So I think, there are multiple different channels that your customers are engaging you with. So you don't necessarily need their phone number to run through chat, and you don't necessarily need their phone number to run through email. So those are two channels that you would be able to interact if you did not have a customer phone number, to build that trust in order for them to actually feel comfortable giving you their phone number. From that side, I guess I can pass it over to Bobby around sort of what you would need to embed in the process flow yourselves to make sure that you're factoring in for these types of customers who might not be comfortable giving you their phone number right away.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer, James. I think, the design of the bot is really up to you, depending on what types of information you want to grab from the customer. So if you don't want to ask for that, you don't have to. If you, like in the demo, we kind of asked, and obviously Lauren provided it, but if she said no thanks, right, then we can build, like James is saying, we can still build the lead with a name and an email, and then it just maybe goes through a different sales cadence, right? Maybe it goes through an email list follow-up, and then there's some other process that has to be followed to then engage them more seriously over the phone. The other thing you can do is you can require some fields to be filled out before somebody opens the chat. So we were gathering that information kind of in line with the bot and using natural language to kind of parse out what is her name, what is her email, what is her phone number. But if you wanted to provide a pre-chat form that says, hey, before you start, right, can you give us some information? You can do that too. I think it's kind of a balance, and NeuraFlash can help kind of decide what is the best type of conversation design there. We have people on staff that their whole job is basically, what is a customer experience that is enjoyable, that they will actually want to engage in, to make sure that you're not leaving stuff on the table because it's a cumbersome experience, or if it's something that causes people just to close the chat right away. So yeah, those are some of the other options you can have.
Absolutely. Appreciate that answer, Bobby. And I think one other question that came up that's a bit more technical in nature is one that's around the opt-in, opt-out strategy around SMS and really any of these engagement channels. I think we can speak to that a little bit. So this solution would offer the capability to opt in and opt out of the SMS channel in particular, as this question was aligned to. So I think, Bobby, if you can chime in a little bit more around some of the process around how we have set up different SMS or different regulations to ensure compliance in this solution, that would also be really helpful
Sure.
to the audience.
Yeah, I'd say on SMS, yeah, it's tricky, right? So with most SMS deployments, we do have like an opt-in, opt-out flag on the customer record. Obviously in our demo, I didn't put all that in there because it would have made it a little cumbersome, right? To kind of have to go through that. But yeah, ideally, when someone provides their phone number, you send them a, hey, you've opted in, right? The way it works is you're implicitly opted in until you opt out, right? So all customers are basically implicitly opted in if they provide their number in the context of saying, can I have your number to text you? If at any point they want to opt out, there is logic built into the platform that says if you see, opt out language, basically check that flag on their profile. So when you think about an agent trying to text, they wouldn't have that option. That start conversation button wouldn't be there because they would have been already opted out. And then also applies to things like outbound blasts from the bot. Those would also not go out because it's all going to be tied into the customer flag and whether or not they've indicated that they don't want text anymore. Does that answer the question, I think?
I believe so. Yes, thank you, Bobby. And I think one question that's come up is what kind of customer support and training resources are available to help us successfully evaluate and implement sales engagement and some of the tools that we saw here today. And I know that I love using the Trailhead offerings and some of the resources that are available from Salesforce. Maybe Jeff, if you want to give a quick plug to what's available on Trailhead, that would be excellent.
Yeah, obviously Trailhead is one of our kind of on-platform learning experiences, right? So if you're not familiar with that, I would definitely go check it out. There are opportunities to learn about our entire portfolio from soup to nuts, really, on Trailhead. So learning about digital engagement, Service Cloud Voice, and more specifically how those applications apply from a sales-based standpoint are definitely trails that are readily available to you through a simple account that you can sign up for Trailhead.
Absolutely.